Hi friend, I hope you had a fantastic week. A few weeks ago, a friend came by and visited me in San Francisco, and it was really great. I love when friends come by. But I of course gave him a tour of our neighborhood, because I love our neighborhood. And I showed him one place, which is a bookstore in the neighborhood. And the bookstore is very famous from the beatnik movement. That was the movement before the hippies, and they were really political and very active in that area. And that bookstore literally is still there today and still sells the same kind of books as to that time. But I took my friend downstairs into the basement, and there's a whole ton of books, like bookshelves and books and books and books. But then there's a bookshelf in one of the corners, and on the top you can see like the writing a little bit on the wall, and it says "Remember," and then at the end you just see F and E, and you're like, I know what that means. So we talked to a salesperson in the store and asked like, hey, what does this say? And he told us like, it says "Remember Lot's wife," and we're like, okay. And at the door to like another room, it says "I am the door." And we're like, that's very interesting. And then he asked a little bit more, and he said like, like this is like was a meeting spot of a religious group, so probably Christians because it's out of the Bible. And we were just like amazed, like how this bookstore is based or placed on like a former meeting spot of Christians, where they prayed, where they worshipped, where they loved God, and where they prayed for our neighborhood. And you weren't expecting that. When you look at the bookstore, you don't think like that's an old place of like a church, maybe like, or a meeting spot where Christians prayed and came together. You don't think that, but it is. And it's just amazing how God is using that, like how God lays a foundation in the neighborhood in places where we the least expect it. But I just want to encourage you with that too. Like when you look at your own neighborhoods, there might be places of influence in your neighborhood that you think that are negative, that are not maybe the best influence on your neighborhood, but they're there, like, and you can believe there might be even a foundation where Christians really invested in that place, where Christians prayed over this place, where Christians were maybe living in the basement of that place, like in that bookstore. And you can pray that it becomes that again. When you know the history of your neighborhood, when you look at the foundations that are laid, that encourages you too, because that shows you like you're not the only one that prays for your neighborhood. You're not the only one that invests in your neighborhood. No, there's many before you. And isn't that amazing to think? Like, we are part of a bigger picture. It's not just about like us, it's about like many before us and many after us. So you will lay a foundation today as somebody laid a foundation before you. And it keeps going that way. So I just want to encourage you in that, like, keep laying foundations in your neighborhood. Find the foundations in your neighborhood where they are, and believe God for even further in the future changes and hope being brought where people really know Him. Because in that verse, it talks about like when He talks about Lot's wife, it talks about after, if you want to win your life, you have to lose it. Isn't that amazing? And the movement of the books and the bookstore is more about like, yeah, we want to just focus on this life, what we have here. But Jesus talks about you have to lose your life to win it. So I just want to encourage you with that. Have a blessed week, and look for those places in your neighborhood. Love you guys. Bye.